You're listening to Who's Tom and Dick, a weekly podcast with your hosts, Martin Weavers, fighting stage 4 lung cancer, and Patrick Mortimer, living with heart disease. Why not grab yourself a cup of coffee, sit back, and enjoy the chatter as we discuss and share information, talking about tough subjects, and offering help, support, and motivation with a positive mental attitude.
How you doing, Martin? Are you all right?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Well, we're in a new venue.
Another day, another venue, yeah.
Another venue. We've had a
posher one than the last one that we went to.
It is a bit posh, isn't it? Yeah.
We normally go to a well-known sort of store where you can get things, coffees on tap and things like that. But waiter service today, isn't it?
Yes, very posh. Anyway, we're very excited today to have a special guest.
Yeah, this is going to be really, really different today, I think, because it's something we spoke about and probably had a little chuckle.
Yes.
And not to take the mickey out of it.
No.
But I think a lot of people would probably be like us. And so today we're going to put it all right. So
today we have medium. Wait, no, don't you butt in there. Medium, psychic, author, mentor, public speaker for over 25 years. We're thrilled to have with us today, TJ.
Hello, TJ.
Hi,
Thank
TJ.
you.
Thanks for giving up your time to join us here today at this fine establishment.
Yeah. It's not normally this posh where we go. It's because of you.
Pulled out all the stops.
We have today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Martin and I have spoken briefly about this subject. I'm a little bit of a skeptic. Martin not so, as he's had dealings with the supernatural in the past. And so, firstly, please explain to me the differences between a medium and a psychic.
Oh, that's really important as well, Patrick, because a lot of people will go for a psychic reading and believe that their family are going to communicate from the other side. So when you work psychically, psychic means of the soul. So you read the soul of the living person. So tarot readers, all that sort of thing, all come under a psychic banner. Like reading your energy is psychic. But when you work mediumistically, you're talking to the soul of the spirit person, the person that's gone to the other side of life. So it's completely different. When you do a tarot reading, you are not talking to people that have passed over. Okay. So, but look, many people don't know the difference. So excellent question to start. Thank you.
I'll just say, take us back to the beginning. How did you know you had this? And how long have you been doing it? So you tell us your story.
Yeah. So, I was like Lady Gaga, born this way. So, I was just born
Other
like
songs
it.
are available.
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Went over my head, that one did.
Oh, right. That's a song by Lady Gaga?
Lady Gaga.
Oh, right.
Okay. So I was born like it. And I had to really, throughout my childhood, hide a lot of who I was because of people's reactions and things like that, but just silly things that would happen. Like, we grew up with a Jack Russell and obviously Jack Russells are brown and white. She was Pepsi. And my brother Colin, who is now on the other side of life, used to go and play with her when she was kind of glowing, sort of a blue. That's the only way. When she was blue, you don't touch her. It means she's got the ump. Right. I would only play with her when she was glowing green. So blue, she would bite him. And I would think, why are you doing that? The dog's going to bite you. So it was just a sense in me that I thought everyone else had, and when I wrote my book, Living with a Gift, and I spoke to Colin about that because I put that story in there and he was like, she was a Jack Russell, she was brown and white. So what are you talking about? So he's my stepbrother. So,
just before you do carry on with your story, can I say, if anybody comes through today, can you tell us live while we're talking?
I will if they do. And the thing is about when I work, I am very disciplined. So if I'm doing this, like if I was going to go and have my hair cut, I'm not going to sit in the salon waiting for my hairdressers, spirit people. So, and in this environment, sometimes it's not conducive to what we do. I know there's a lot of people that show off and say, I can do this. But for me, it's something very beautiful and a privilege to talk to people that are on the other side of life. So I take it very seriously.
And you're more relaxed today talking to us. But if they do, I'd love to know.
I will let you know. Yes, sometimes.
So carry on with your story. Sorry.
So I kind of hid a lot of me for a long time. And I was always told, you're a liar. That's not true, et cetera, And one of my first experiences was when I was 3 years old. My pops died my great granddad. And my nan told me the story about how I was, back then they used to have the bodies in the front room, didn't they? Do you know? So my pops was in the front room and I was kicking the door in to get to my pops. And then once he'd left the house, he was always sitting in the same chair. So when my uncles and that used to sit on him, I used to be like, get off him, But you learn very quickly, especially back then. I mean, it's still a bit of a thing to talk about now in public, or with some people, because the way they can attack you for what you believe. So I kind of kept a lot of it hidden until I was about 26 and I was married. I left my husband when I was 26 and I could read palms. Like you give me a hand, I'd read your palm, and it freaked a lot of people out, and then I became single. And I'd be in a nightclub and a guy would chat me up and I'd be like, just go home to your wife and your 6-year-old daughter. And they would just look at me. So I kind of got a bit of a reputation. I never got chatted up in the clubs very often after that, So it's just, it's not like what I want to be. It's who I am. I was born like this. You get natural mediums like me, and you also get trained mediums where anyone can do it. It's not like a moon didn't shift and say you can do this. I really don't believe in all of that. If you dedicate your life to it, anyone can do what I can do. But it is a dedication. It's a lot of energy and it takes a lot from you, but it also gives you so much as well.
Yeah. So when you was at school, and you say you felt these things, did the kids think you were like a weirdo or something like that? Or did they bully you or?
Well, my eyes, as you can see, are very strange. So, and when I'm with spirit, my eyes change colour. So if ever I'm having something go on, they go almost like clear. So growing up with eyes like that straight away, so I learnt to really keep myself to myself. Like I did have friends, don't get me wrong. I had horses, I had friends, I had a great
schools are
childhood.
schools, aren't they? And
school, you have to kind of, it was difficult because I didn't always understand what was going on, because I'd be in an environment or a situation and I'd feel nervous or scared or whatever emotion, but it would come out of the blue. But it could be, like if you were really excited right now, Martin, your energy is going to come to me and I'm going to feel excited. But if you were really depressed, I'm going to feel like that. Yeah. So it's like a roller coaster of emotions. And imagine like being a teenager and
How would you say he is at the moment? Then?
He's all right. He's just like bobbing along at the moment. Yeah.
I'm
happy.
I am very happy.
Very sprightly. Yeah. So that's good.
What about you? What about him? Miserable old git.
A little nervous.
Right.
And he's in the corner.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The baby in the corner. Eh?
I'll take a drink.
Yeah. So has anybody ever come through when you're on stage or anywhere who are a really horrible person who not like Jack the Ripper say, but someone that's come through and they're horrible and they've actually frightened you and you don't want to talk about it? Has it ever happened?
No. I'm in control of who talks to me. Same as now. Do you know, if somebody walked over to us right now and we didn't like the look of them, you don't entertain them, do you? You just don't talk to them. But I've had situations when I worked on Psychic Private Eyes where there were, I had the energy of a murderer come close to me and the girl that he murdered were also it was in the same room. But the way, and I set my rules with spirit. They're not allowed to just, I can't be in Tesco's or I can't be here, there or everywhere where they just talk to me, because it's, like I say, it's got to be, it's a privilege, and it's got to be taken seriously. So what they did then, the guy that murdered the little girl that came in was behind like a sheet of glass. That's the only way I know to explain it. Yeah. He couldn't get any closer to me. A lot of people you might have read protect themselves from spirit. If a spirit person wanted to come in now and pick us up and throw us across the room, there's nothing we can do about it. But why would they want to do that? Do So if you respect them, they'll respect you. Yeah. So, and in haunted, use that term very loosely, locations, because they're not haunted. We're going into the past of these people. Sometimes they're not really happy about us being there and poking fun at them, So I worked for Japanese TV. These Japanese producers came over. It was quite, unique, I have to say. Yeah. They had like those bandanas on and they kept calling me their goddess and they didn't really speak English but they came over and we went to a venue. It was a jail for women that had been accused of being witches. So that's what they wanted to film. And when we made connection with the lady that had passed over, been murdered, basically. She came into the room and she was not happy because this is a prison for women accused of being witches, and they dress the whole jail or whatever it used to be with cauldrons and brooms and things like that. And I never even thought about it, to be honest, until she came in, and she was she was very, very forceful about her opinion that this venue was full of cauldrons and brooms and witch things. Yeah. And she wasn't a witch. Yeah. She was a woman that was accused of being a witch. So that kind of really opened my eyes as well to sometimes when people go out. But she, and the interesting thing with this, and hopefully it won't happen today, we filmed this. We even had blue lights, blue orbs in the room, and the Japanese people could see them. So it wasn't just me saying, oh, there's a blue light. Yeah. We could all see them, you know, and my husband, he's now my husband, but he was there as well. And I call him a muggle, you know, so he keeps me grounded. And Stu could see. So if Stuart can see them, that's not normal, you know. But we were right in the middle of this. They'd rewound it. We'd watched all the what had happened. And then as we're watching these blue lights, it's on a corner where, and the police were chasing someone. So, you know, they've got their blue flashing lights. All of a sudden, this car comes around the corner, all these blue flashing lights. So they're all screaming. The Japanese people are screaming because all these blue lights are coming into the room. Right. They didn't realise it was our police. You know, it was, but every bit of that filming, we had a break, went and got some food. And when we came back to those cameras, 3 cameras were all wiped clean. She'd had her experience. There's a lot more to the story. We haven't got time today, but the woman had got her experience, but very forceful. I would never want to go up against a woman like that again, but she never hurt me.
What psychic gifts have you got?
I'm greedy. I got them all. Right. And it's psychic, and you use them with your mediumship. So I'm clairvoyant, so I can see spirit. I'm clair-knowing, so I allow thoughts just to come into my mind, you know. I am clairaudient as well, so I can hear spirit. I'm clairsentient. That's like my superpower, really. Clairsentient is where you feel spirit, and that's the quickest one to work with. So if someone's, you know, if say someone had passed over with a heart attack, I'm going to feel that in my body immediately. Do you know, if a man's really tall, I feel really tall, really small, bigger, smaller. Right. That's your sex. That's my superpower. And I'm also something called clairaugustant, which is nice sometimes, but that's to smell or taste. So sometimes if it's a nice smell, you know, but sometimes if it's a bit, you know, manky, it's not always the nicest. So I'm greedy. But I teach. So I think as a teacher and a mentor, I need to be able to do it all, because some of my students will have 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5, whatever. Some have got all of them. But if I haven't, I can't help them. So
because I'd made a note of something about different types of mediums, but I've got different wording to all that.
Yes.
I've got an evidential. Yeah. A trance.
Yes.
Evidential trance.
Yes.
Medical medium. Yeah. An animal or pet medium.
Yes.
Which I found quite interesting, that one. So, and a challenging or spiritual trance.
Okay. So channeling is
Hang on a minute. Sorry. I do come in occasionally like this.
Sorry. Yeah.
A pet medium.
Yeah.
A pet medium, yeah.
How can you talk to a pet?
You can.
Yeah.
Animal communication.
I talk to Benny every day.
I know you do, but you're in that case. But how can you talk to a pet?
In spirit and alive. Yes, they can. And the same as, and I don't mean to put children as the same as an animal, but if you've got a baby can't talk, can it?
No.
But you know instinctively, as the mother or as the father or someone really close to that child, what that child needs, don't you? There's certain cries that you can, I'm only, please don't think I'm equating, you know, children to baby, although my dogs are like my babies. But that's an easy way to explain it for people to understand, you know. Right. So it's like if one of my dogs are off, I'll know why, because they've got some, you know, their energy's changed, or, you know, if your dog's scared, you know, don't you? If it's happy, you know. And I work a lot in Japan, and when I work in Japan, they are not really bothered about their parents or anybody in spirit. They're worried about their animals. Wow. And I get pictures of cats dressed like clowns and really frou-frou.
I misunderstood. I thought you were trying to communicate with a dog for another dog's purpose.
Oh, Well, sometimes you might need that.
See what I have to put up with?
Right, okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So,
Back to your question,
back to
Martin.
that. So,
Sorry.
an evidential medium is like me. I give evidence. I never ever say that I give proof, because I don't need to. I give evidence that people are there. So information. A trance medium, I am also one of those. So, which is where, seen the film Ghost, where Whoopi allows the spirit people in her.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Oh, okay.
And you allow the spirit person to come in. And I've had some really, I mean, I don't know, because they're using my body to show, but I do an event every year called TJ and Friends, and family members, one of the ladies this year, her son sat in me, and she touched my face and I had stubble, and don't make a comment that I'm in my 50s now and, waxing is necessary.
I wouldn't, but he might.
Okay. But she felt her son, my hands were not my hands. So a trance medium can give that information.
Yeah.
In trance, we've given information about the world, what's going on, what's to come. About 7 years ago, maybe a bit longer. No, maybe longer than that. So it must be more than 9 years ago. We had evidence come in about an injection that we were all to have, and about us all being almost like numbered from this injection, and it was going to be compulsory, and all of these things. We didn't know what that meant back then. Yeah. Now we do.
Yeah,
and they will come in. And I was in Japan in 2019. And how they know things are coming forward. But I worked in Tokyo. So as soon as I finish readings all day, I like to get out of the apartment. So I'd walk up the Roppongi Hills, and you've got the Tokyo Tower, which I always like to take a photo of, let everyone know, my husband know, I'm here, different time zones. Yeah. And there was a Seiko clock, for countdown for the Olympics. So this is November 2019. Took a photo of the clock, and my head said, the clock's wrong. And I'm thinking, you've lost the plot train, that the clock is, you're in Japan for a start. The clock ain't going to be wrong. And it's for the Olympics. 3 or 4 times I did that. And while I was there were 3 or 4 earthquakes where the tables, we'd be sitting here now, I'd be doing a reading and the table would be rocking. Wow. And I'm like, earthquake? And they're like, yeah, just carry on.
This is a really good reading.
Carry on. Yeah, exactly. I can't say that was spiritual phenomenon. Oh, right. That was definitely spirit. And the last time there was the third one, I was actually in the bath, and the baths are like great big plunge pools, so I was in the bath and I'm reading my book in the bath, and all of a sudden the bath, and I'm thinking, what is then another earthquake. So obviously I don't want to be naked in an earthquake, threw myself out of the bath. And I went to see one of my clients, and I was telling him that I'd had these experiences with the clock. I'd said these earthquakes, that something is coming to Japan next year. I don't know what it is, but it's... Yeah. And then I saw there's a big clock, which is like Bond Street in London. Do imagine that area, Ginza, which is loads, very, very wealthy. And I saw the clock that's there on the floor. So my client is Japanese, but he has an interpreter, and like he owns a gallery. We kind of just catch up for coffee and chat. He's so interesting to talk to. So he's not really a client anymore. He said, do you think we should be in Tokyo for the Olympics? And I was like, no, you've got to go somewhere else. And they actually went to their home in Hawaii instead, and then didn't have to they dealt with COVID in Hawaii rather than in Tokyo.
Oh, wow.
but didn't know. I can't say I predicted the fact that this was going to happen. But, when people are saying all the conspiracy theorists, I listen to everybody, because everyone's got an opinion. And sometimes it's really interesting, isn't it? But why was that clock wrong then in November? So it was coming. The universe knew it was coming. Yeah. So that might sound a bit woo-woo, but it did. Yeah. Which is odd, isn't it?
You mentioned a word that get me going there, conspiracy theories. I've got so many. God, about the man on the moon. Yeah. Elvis being dead.
Well, I went to Graceland this year, actually, and I was so excited because I thought I might feel him there, and I felt nothing.
I reckon he's upstairs.
That's why you can't go up there, isn't it?
I know.
But I didn't. I mean, not saying Elvis's spirit should ever come to me, but I didn't feel his spirit at Graceland. I was a bit disappointed.
Can you feel the spirit of someone alive?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I was going to say, because obviously if he's alive, you wouldn't feel his spirit.
Well, I should think it's stronger, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Not that I know much about it, but I'm me the expert.
You are being educated today.
We are, yeah.
Have you had any particularly memorable or impactful readings?
I was reading for a lady, and I don't read a crystal. I've got crystal balls because I like them, but my crystal ball is blue, purple. It's got all different colours in it. And this day I just decided I wanted my crystal ball on my table and I don't like a lot of stuff on my table. And
you knock them off.
Yeah. Definitely not allowed drinks on there. But, so I thought, I'm having that on the table. So I was doing the reading and, the lady was sitting in front of me and her mum, I'd met her mum before she passed and a couple of years before. And her mum asked me when she had terminal cancer. So she knew she was going home. And I said to her, you'll be here for Christmas, but I can't see you here at New Year. And she said, thank you very much. And I wasn't being horrible to her. She was like, right, I'll have a really good Christmas then because I'll be putting my feet up. And she came to me on the 28th of December, told me she was home. And then I messaged her daughter and said, your mum's cross, your mum's all right. She's with your dad and lots of other things. But so this lady sitting in front of me, and obviously the family always thought I was a bit weird, but to see that she was going on holiday. And this reading was around October time. And all of a sudden, my crystal ball started moving. And even I was like, whoa, what was in my coffee this morning,
Yeah.
And I could see turtles drowning in the crystal ball. And I said to her, wherever you're going on holiday, you can't go. And she was like, why? What? The turtles are going to drown. And she said, right, I'm not going then, not going. And then her husband called me. What do you mean? This holiday? Never told me where they were going. I was like, if you go, I don't know if you'll come home. And it was that serious. And it was really quite scary to say that to somebody, but I trust so much that I would tell you anything, tell my clients anything. So then about the next month, I was filming a TV show, like a pilot for a TV show. And the girl I was sat next to, I went, see that image again? I said, you're going on holiday at Christmas? So she said, yeah. I said, you can't go. So she said, why not? Because the turtles are drowning. And she just looked at me, she was a producer, looked at me as if like, who is this? I said, listen, if you go, you won't come home. And it was making me feel really, I was thinking, where are these people going? I wasn't going anywhere. I was staying at home. And then on Boxing Day, I got a phone call from the First Lady's husband saying, thank you. You saved my family's life. Well, it was my first year without my children. So I'd been out, having a really good Christmas and a little bit hungover, I'm not going to lie. And I was like, what's going on? I don't really watch TV. What's going on? And he said, where they would have been in Phi in Thailand was where the tsunami hit. So they didn't go. They went to their villa in another country. The lady, the producer, didn't go. Her boyfriend, they'd split up. He went and took his mate. And his mate died. Wow. And it's like, and that
made me go all tingly.
Me too. Yeah, see, that's because it's true.
That's the doors open behind you.
That's always stayed with me, like the power of them, do you know? And it's not me. I'm just the person that reads it, do you know, or just says it. So that's always stayed with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's many, many more, but we've only got a couple of hours.
In your sessions or any time, have you ever had anyone famous come through?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Are you allowed to?
I'm not.
Can't even describe what they did?
No. Actors, film stars, lots of people. Yeah. Yes. And I read for lots
because they are normal people at the end of the day.
That's the thing. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have asked me that question, but even when I work, when magazines interview me and they want to know who I've spoken to, living and what I could tell them. And I'm like, but if I read for you and spoke about your private life and things that are going on, do you want me then to ring up the local newspaper and say, it's like just because they're famous, they should still be allowed privacy?
I probably would, wouldn't I?
You probably would. That's because you're a wrong one.
I put my whole life on Facebook.
I told you I'm psychic. But
you don't have to be psychic to find out. It's all on Facebook.
Yeah, no, I'm not very good at that. But no, I just think it's their private life and I'm not willing.
No,
if they talk about me, absolutely fine.
I respect you for keeping their privacy, really.
Yeah.
How do you manage the emotions that come from communicating with spirits?
I'm not going to lie, it's really hard. And but I'm human as well. And especially when it comes to children, that have passed over, I do, if I get tears in my eyes, I will carry on. I never make it about me, but I will just almost like silently cry. And when because I do a lot of my readings on Zoom now, because my clients are all over the world. If I do get teary, I will always say to my clients, that's because I can feel the love of spirit. It's the love that makes you cry. It's just, I can't. I wish I could bottle it and give it to everybody. Do you know, it's just more than unconditional love. Unconditional love, I think we take for granted, but that is just profound. You know, it just fills me up.
Yeah.
So, and I'll just say it's the joy and the love that I'm feeling, not sadness, you know.
So how do you turn off, or can you not turn off? Because you need to relax.
I do relax. Yeah, I definitely do. It's like having a radio in the background all the time. It's like, you know, where we are, you can hear people having conversations, but you can't hear what they're saying, can you? But you know everyone's talking, and there's like a radio there, but I can't tell you
your
what
head's
song.
like that?
Yeah, but it's turned right down. Do you know?
Okay,
so the sound's down. So there's always something going on. So if we all stop now and listen to what song's on the radio, we would hear that, wouldn't we? So, but we're not stopping because it's going on. So yeah, it's like having a constant energy with me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And what do you do to relax?
I'm pretty boring. I love reading. I love music. I love festivals. I've got my dog, got my family. I've just been this weekend for a relaxing, not really, weekend watching my son compete in OSG Europe's Strongest Man. So
wow.
So he came fourth. So
Wow,
proud
good.
mum. And we're going to America now in December as he
Excellent.
competes in OSG World's Strongest Man. So, so that's kind of like
What's
what
the
I do.
OSG bit?
It's Original Strongman. That's what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well done you.
So I,
Well done him.
Yeah, I know, my little baby.
Yeah. I bet he's not a little baby.
No, he's not.
Did you see that coming?
Oh, don't start.
I didn't actually. I always knew he would do something, but
What do you say to someone who claims your readings are purely coincidental or generalised?
thank you very much.
Yeah, see ya.
Do you know what? It's going to sound really. Do you mean someone that's had a reading, or do you mean an outsider?
I mean, you know, we hear that people who go to these mediums, you know, especially the shows, they said, "Oh, you're going to start learning to drive when you're 17." So as a generalisation,
yeah, that's a bit rubbish, isn't it?
Things like that, you know.
Yeah. I think when I work, I don't like, you know, I teach this as well. Because we've all got nans that would have made soup, haven't we? Do you know, like back in the day, you didn't have everything ready made. So if a nan comes to me and is telling me she made soup, I'm like, all right, love, so did mine.
Yeah.
What else? Do you know? So, and I will, unless it's like she made a weird soup, like leek and potato, and she put, I don't know, cumin in it or something. I don't cook at all, so I don't know how that goes. I don't consider that evidence.
Right.
Because to me, that's not enough. Like, I'm 54. Under my hair is grey, but I'm never going to come back from spirit saying I'm a grey-haired old lady, because that's boring, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's so much more to us than those things. So I think there is a lot of generalised and lazy mediumship out there.
Yeah.
But I pride myself in not being that person, because I want dates, I want information, I want to know something that no one could know, do you know? And we are accused a lot of the time of going on Facebook and things like that.
In your stage show,
yeah,
when you said to a lady, "Oh, you kissed your dad on the forehead," and I sat there and I thought, well, I kissed my mum on the forehead, and everybody probably kisses there. And then you hit them with your granddad says, "Keep up with your music."
Yeah,
and they stood there, you know,
because kissing on a forehead is very general.
Yeah,
it is. But if they give me something like that, in my head, you'll hear me saying, "Really?" Do you know, like, but you can't hear what else is going on in my brain as I'm talking to them. You know,
it didn't. It's like a whammy to me, you know.
Yeah.
They both sat there, and granddad says, "Keep on with the music." Like that, the girl, because how did you know about that?
Yeah,
you know?
And I don't, because he does. Do you know, it's like I worked in Gravesend recently, and I love working there. I always have a bit of a giggle there. There's normally a naughty message from spirit, and by the time I've realised it's naughty, I'm in it, and then I'm like, oh my God, you know, got to get out of this. But there was a bloke, like, I have nothing until I stand on that stage. I have nothing. I might have seen names of things on cars, or songs are coming into my brain all day. Do you know, they're preparing me all day.
And you have nobody in the foyer listening to people's conversations?
I promise on my mediumship.
Do people, though, other people?
No one. I don't wear a headpiece. I don't do anything, because if I was to do that, then I'm taking a mick out of all those people that have come to see me, aren't I? I'm actually also, I don't just work for those people in my audience. I work for spirit. And I think, I don't want to get over there one day and have someone queue up and have a go at me and say, you did this to my child. You know that film Airplane? Do you know where she's sat and she's getting a slap? I always think I've always had it in my head. If I ever give like someone to the wrong person, even, they're going to get on that plane and get me off and go, you gave me to, you know, my daughter was in that audience. Yeah. So I have this constant like thing in my head of making sure that it's real. But this guy just, as I was stood there, this guy just walked towards me and he had a parrot on his shoulder. And I was like, do you know, and in your head, you're like, I've got to say this. I was like, I've got a bloke called, and his name was Peter, which again is like, Peter Parrot, you know, and I'm thinking, and I said it, and I was like, he's a dad, da, da, da. And then I just looked into the audience and I said, is this your dad like that? And she went, yeah. And I said, his name Peter? Yes. It's got a parrot. She went, yeah. You know, and even I was like, what the hell? So it has to feel like that for me as well. I don't want to just do like the generic stuff.
Yeah, because otherwise you'd stand on stage there and you'd sound like you're reading a script or something like that.
Absolutely. And you know, when I teach, I've done it to my students where I've stood there and I said, I've got, like say a man, he's between 70 and 80. He's losing his hair a little bit. You know, he's got a bit of brill cream going on. He's got his shirt sleeves rolled up and he's got a watch on. And I know he's a granddad. Does anyone know who this is? And about 20 of my students will put their hands up. And I say, I haven't got anyone. I've just told you a generic man between 70 and 80, and you have all. I said, now if I say, you know, he's Tom and Dick and Harry, you know, or his mates or something, you know, and he's in this lady Margaret is really important, then that's it. But that first generic, that's generic. We've all got them. There's only so many ways you can pass over as well, isn't there? Do you know? So it does annoy me.
We had this sort of conversation, both having near-death experiences.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We've had this conversation about going to see the light and all this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever gone to see the light.
Nor me.
But we said, you know, if you get a child that dies, I don't know, 15, then your mother dies at 60.
Yeah.
When you go yourself to the other side and you see those relatives again, do you see the child at that age and do you see the mother at that age, or is there something completely different?
Yeah, see, a soul will always remember a soul, you know, so you always, it's even like in a life thing. I was in a pub recently and I went up, there was a lady sitting at the bar, you know, at the stalls, and I went up and I said, I did a reading for you about 9 years ago, didn't I? Because you do know me. And she went, oh, I don't think so. And then when I told her where it was, she was like, yeah, I remembered her. And yet, I don't know this lady. She's not even related to me. Do you know? I don't know her from Adam, really. Right. Do you know? But a soul will always recognise a soul. And my husband actually has a little girl in spirit from his first marriage. And she came to me initially when we first got together. She's always around and she is growing up alongside us. So, and he sometimes he doesn't see her, but has a feeling of her as she's growing up. So Amy is growing up in spirit alongside us, you know, so, and I think sometimes people come in, like I had it recently where this guy came in with all his hair slicked back and all this lot as if he was like 25 and his name was Tom Jones, believe it or not. He kept singing Tom Jones to me and I was like, it's telling me Tom Jones. But he was like, and I'm thinking, hold on a minute. You're not that age. That's not you. Because I could almost like see this image of him young and then this image of him like as an older man, you know, like sat in his chair. Yeah. And his daughter said there's a beautiful picture of her dad looking how he did. But later on in life, he was so poorly and he had like quite a severe illness. Mm-hmm. So he lost himself for many years. So I thought that was really nice that he came back like that. When there was part of me, all I could see was him sitting in a chair and I'm thinking, you're telling me fibs, you know, you're not supposed to lie. Yeah. How are you getting away with that? Yeah.
How do you respond to critics who argue that mediumship is not scientifically proved?
But energy can't be destroyed, can it? So it's already scientifically proved. That's normally what I say to them. Go away and read quantum physics and understand us, who we are, not this part, not this physical part. This is just our, you know, what we journey in. But our energy can never be destroyed. So then I'll say to them, now you come back and tell me the answer to that, you know? So
Ricky Gervais said once,
I love him.
that if you took the Bible or any Bible for any religion and destroyed it, and you took a book of scientifics and destroyed it, then had 1,000 years break, when you rewrote those books, the scientific book would be the same, but the religious book would be different.
Yeah, I agree. Religion is different to what I do. Religion is man-made, isn't it? Do you know, and it's something that over the years has been quite controlling as well for people. And that back in the day, when everyone used to go to church in the Victorian era, everyone used to sit in their certain pews, didn't they?
Yeah.
Their hierarchy. It wasn't necessarily that they wanted to go and be with God. They wanted to go because it was the done thing and it was the thing you had to do. But religion is so necessary because it gives everybody some peace or some comfort or whatever it needs. But so is mediumship necessary because I give comfort to people. People like me give comfort. So I don't like it when I'm kind of religiously bashed for what I do because I am not a religious person, and a lot of people find that
I was going to
difficult.
say, do you believe in God?
I believe in God is part of all of us, you know. So I believe in God as an energy, not as a man or a woman on a throne.
Because there was a quote in the Bible in Deuteronomy 18:10.
Yeah,
people who conjure the dead are an abomination.
But a man wrote that.
Yeah.
That wasn't God's hand, was it, coming down and saying it's an abomination? And if you go with that question, then why did God create me, and why did God allow me to believe what I believe and know what I know if I'm an abomination?
Yeah, that's right.
Because I am a child of God, whether I'm perceived as evil or good or whatever, I'm still a child of God.
Yeah.
And according to religion, God will forgive me.
So back then, was there people doing what you was doing?
Absolutely, yeah. If you read the Bible, the seer
I must
saw
admit
the star.
I've never read it.
No, but the three wise men.
Yeah.
They were not kings. One of them was a seer. There was an astrologer, and there was a seer. I would be a seer.
Oh, okay.
So there's a seer in the Bible.
Yeah,
and
I'm just quoting from that. So I'm not.
No, I'm fascinated. I read a lot of religious texts because I want to know what, I want to have the answers, because ask people to think. Not necessarily. I'm not trying to convert anyone, but if you think about when Jesus was resurrected, he was seen by Mary Magdalene and his mother Mary. So they saw his spirit. So why can't I see the spirit of your dad or your granddad? Or why is that impossible?
Well, that shut you up, didn't it?
No, but it's true, isn't it?
No, she's answered the question honestly, But
it's relevant. It's relevant questions that people look at. But they look at people like me and think we're just all wearing crystals and we're a bit woo-woo.
Yeah.
In your experience, how often do you find that people are seeking closure or comfort when they come to you?
99%.
Yeah, I'd have thought a lot.
Yeah, I do a lot of psychic readings, which is about people's lives, but I am predominantly known as a medium. So, yeah.
I went to see one in Whittam when Mum died, and that's what I went there for, hoping, but nothing ever happened. But I think most people go there. Have you been to see one?
No, I haven't. No.
No. How does this? I can see this works talking to one-to-one.
Yeah.
How does it work in an email?
So I don't do email readings because my energy comes, the information comes so fast. I can't do that and type it. So I would have to then record it and then have someone else type it. And then all the energy, all that beautiful energy would be dissolved.
It's just, I read, different kinds of ways that it's all done.
Yeah, email is not. No, I would find that quite hard to channel that.
You need to get the person's feelings, and those feelings from him need to come over to you. So in an email, when you're typing, it doesn't really work, does it? Yeah,
you do have to get their emotions. But if I'm told the name of somebody, I don't ask any questions when I do my mediumship. But if someone was worried about their child and he was called Joe, for example, I can feel for Joe. But obviously you've given me that name. So I feel for Joe through you, to go and get Joe. So same as spirit come with you. They'll come to me, but through you. Yeah. Yeah.
What's the difference between a spirit and a ghost?
Hollywood.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's my answer to that. Yeah. And when people say they're going on ghost hunts, that's like you're going out to stalk people that have passed over and you're calling them a ghost. So the word ghost is not in my vocabulary. Right. To me, that is Casper, and it's a film. It's not, Casper. Yeah, it's not a reality.
Can you or anybody actually see a ghost stroke spirit?
Yes, I do. I'm clairvoyant, so I see spirit.
But can I see a spirit?
Yeah. See, if you're in the right environment with the right energy, then there's and you probably have. Everyone probably has, but haven't really noted it. So because I did. So years ago, I was on stage with Colin Fry, and we were saying goodnight. I think we were down south somewhere. I can't remember exactly. It was some cliff theatre. I can't remember exact theatre. And so Colin was doing the goodbye, you know, and he was chatting on and stuff. And I have the attention span of a goldfish. I'm really terrible. So I was just trying to stand there, be nice. You know, we finished out. I want to go and meet the people. And I looked up and there was like these two little balconies and there was this lady there dressed like with a big Georgian hat on, like stood next to these other people in this old Georgian dress with the, like, you know, the umbrellas. She didn't have the umbrella, but this, staring at this lady thinking, what a weird thing to wear to our show like that. And I thought this dress was fantastic and this hat was amazing, you know. And then all of a sudden she just disappeared. It was like she sort of crumbled and disappeared. And I was like, oh, anyway. Said to Colin, I saw this lady. Did you see her? And he was like, no, darling, I was talking. So he wasn't focused, but I was. And as we went through the corridor, because we always arrive at the back door, we never get to see the front until after. And as we walked down this corridor, there was these images of these women dressed exactly. I went all goosebumpy. So I was like, oh my God, how weird is that? You know? Yep. So again, I wasn't thinking, oh, that's a spirit person. To me, she looked just like, well, not you in a dress, but, you know. I don't know.
You haven't seen him in a dress.
Those legs? Yeah.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
You don't use any tools or anything like that on stage? Like
no.
What, like a Black and Decker?
Well, some of them...
I have a table for me water.
Trumpets. What are they used for?
Oh, right. Okay. So that would be in a physical seance.
Right.
So you wouldn't ever do that on stage. You would do that privately in a room, blacked out. And you're asking spirit to lift the trumpet. And it's not
a trumpet like I know.
No.
Kenny Ball.
No. Yeah, so you ask spirit to move those things in the room. So they're it's called physical mediumship. So there's a physical change in the room's energy. Yeah. Yeah,
no, I saw you just standing there and so I...
Yeah, no, I have a table for me water and that's it.
Which is a Beatles song.
I know. I'm not old enough for that.
No, Martin is a believer and
I'm a believer. That's another song.
Beatles song.
How many songs have we got managed to get into this?
I want to hold your hand now.
Yeah.
And we know all about his tea towel moving.
Yes.
But his mum follows him around.
Yes.
Because he can sit in a room, and this is his words, not mine, and I'm going to clean it up. He can smell cigarettes.
Yes.
What does that mean?
That's her letting him know. That's your mum letting you know that she is around. And you know she's there. So for her to bring a smell that you associate with her, I'm assuming, you know, that she smokes and stuff. She
smoke about 40 a day.
Yeah, I was going to say she reminds me a bit of my nan who used to do that. Yeah. But that's just her, like her calling card, do you know? So, and if you know, that's her way of saying, yes, it is me.
But I've said, when I get this smell, if you are here, can you move something in the room so I do know you're here?
Yeah.
I know that might be like poltergeist or something.
Yes, that's no pressure to your mum. Yes, that's really mean.
But, so I shouldn't say
I'm on your mum's side. Yeah. No, what you can do, though, is when you get that smell of cigarettes and it stays, doesn't it, while she's still there, you can say, Mum, if that's you, take that smell away. So she'll take the smell away and say, Mum, if that was you, bring the smell back. Because she can definitely do that for you. But I think a lot of people assume, again, because of Hollywood, because of TV, that they can come in and move things. You know, we've all seen...
That's what he was thinking.
Yeah, you know, we've all seen the film Ghost. You know. Yes,
so,
sometimes they can, sometimes they will, but it takes a lot of energy to do that as well.
This brings us on to the other question that we never got answered.
You look very excited.
He does, doesn't he? This must be the clincher.
He's perked up.
if his mum is there...
Yeah.
And giving him this sign.
Yeah.
And can see what's going on and everything.
Yeah.
What about in the bedroom?
What do you think?
Have you actually smoked cigarettes and smelt cigarettes in the bedroom?
Never. So mum's not... She's had the decency to stay outside the door.
So, but a lot of people ask that, do you know? And I'm such a wrong un because sometimes they'll say no, but sometimes they'll say that, and I say, it's like Strictly, do you know? They've got their marks out of 10 and all that, and a lot of men ask me that question. They're like, oh, really? Do you know? It's also a good contraceptive children, do you know, for young people. Your granddad can see what you're up to.
Well,
they can't.
I get that smell on my own a lot.
Yeah.
Probably more on my own. But Linny's also, my wife, she's also smelled it in the room as well.
Yeah, so your mum's... But the thing is, it's like, in life, if you were in bed, your mum, as a grown man with your wife in bed, your mum's not going to come into that room, is she?
No.
It's like when you're in the shower. Do you know, once we're of a certain age, our parents don't come in our bathrooms with us, do they? So you've got almost like... The way I look at it is like they are real people to me. They're not just a little orb. They are real people, and they wouldn't step over the line in situations from death that they would never have stepped over in life.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So all those handcuffs and gimp masks are safe.
Your secret's out now.
Secret at last. I forgot.
Told you to keep out of my bedroom.
Yeah. What would you say to those who believe that mediumship takes advantage of vulnerable people?
Yeah, that's quite sad when people believe that. I think because there are, you know, you have the credible mediums that are working, and then there are mediums working in love, but not necessarily with spirit. They're reading a lot psychically. And I don't know why there would be people that would be pretending to be mediums, but there are, you know. So sometimes I understand why they would say that, you know, but I don't, if you come to my audience, I don't then say to you, now you need to see me privately, you know, because I want more money and all that. I don't do that. If you choose me as your medium, I find that a privilege, and that's your choice, your decision, isn't it? You know, so it's like, you know, when we're told not to drink alcohol, you don't have to drink alcohol, but if you want to drink alcohol, there's a bar there. Your choice to go and get that and drink. Your choice to come and see me. I would never, and if it doesn't work, so you said you had an experience where it didn't work. If it doesn't work and I can't make a connection, then I'll just I'll refund you. You lose your time with me. But if I can't connect with you within 5 minutes, then I'm not going to make a connection with you. I would say, if you're going to choose a medium, choose one on reputation, or choose one that you feel drawn to more so as well. I'm not the medium for everyone, you know, because our vocabulary, and that's why it might not work for you. If your medium didn't have the vocabulary for your mum to communicate with her, we can't add stuff. It's like whatever's in our, like I used to say Rolodex back in the day, but now it's my Google. So I've upgraded it, you know, whatever's in my Google, they will go in and find and show me, you know. So if it's not in there, I can't tell you.
Yeah.
So are there any books that you'd recommend to people to, I mean, obviously, hopefully they've listened to this and you've told them that, you know, what all about it and the difference and why it happens. But is there any books you'd recommend to people to read to find out about this? Apart from your own.
But I was going to say, apart from my own.
Which you can advertise.
Yeah, no, well, my book, Signs from the Afterlife, it's got a lot of people's stories in as well, do you know? So, and that highlights things that happen to everybody. So that's quite a good book. But really, how to be a medium, the only way to understand your energy is to be in a circle or to go for some kind of development, you know. So, and again, see who you're drawn to, do you know, maybe Google some mediums and which one kind of you feel drawn to, because that's the medium that's going to have the answers for you. Yeah.
And you mentioned about that, where can people get these books from?
Amazon.
Yes,
okay. On the Amazon. Yes, and all those
good old Amazon.
I know. What would we do without it? But all the details are on the website and stuff like that.
We'll put a link to the to your website on our website.
Thank you.
Because we do appreciate your time. That about answers all my questions, Martin.
Well, I've got one question, and I think we've really answered it. It was, could you teach us? So you can really, can't you?
Yes, I did. I do like these big events. I'm doing an event back there again actually in October, but more for healing. So Soulfest is more about healing. But years ago, I took over this holiday park, and this man was very skeptical, and he said, no, you can't do it. So I said, no, will you come up then? So I had 3 people come up. One was a working medium, one was kind of like just starting to develop, and him. And I said to him, I'm just going to ask you some questions, and I want you to answer these questions and see what happens. So I just said to him, how do you feel right now? So I was like, no, just feel your energy. Just feel around you. What's going on? He started to feel cold. So I said, so if you were in a queue at a bus stop and you know someone stood behind you, is it a man or a woman? And he went, it's a woman, like that. And then he's looked behind him. There's no one there. And he was like, it's a woman. So I was like, tell me about this woman. He went, she's got red hair. And he just started saying all these things. And I said, what names are going through your head now about this lady? And he started saying names. And this woman put her hand up. It's like, that's my sister. And he was like, yeah, but I just did all that. And this is not even real, like that. And you know, he's now a working medium because he went into development and he now works. So that was about 10 years ago I did that to him.
Well, I think the $64 million question now is, would you read Martin's palm?
I can have a look. Yes. Are you left or right-handed?
You should have washed your hands before you come.
I have. Right-handed.
Okay, I want your left one then. Because this is what you should have been and this is what you are. So put this one here for me as well.
This is what you are.
So, and bearing, I don't know any, you've told me a few things. So straight away, see, there's a big initial A coming into your hand there. There's a big A. Okay. All these crosses, what this means is like teaching and knowledge. So you're somebody that you can't ever just know a little bit about something. If you're interested, you got to know it like from A to Z, do you know? So, but if you're not interested, you won't even bother. So this is all about your lifeline and your love life.
Do I answer these questions as you're going along?
Yeah, you can do. Yeah.
That is very true.
Yeah.
And my mum is Audrey.
Yeah, it's big A. She's in your hand there. Massive A. Can you see that? If I drew on it, look, give me your pen.
I'm now having an A drawn on my...
There you go. That's your A off your lines. Okay. So she's
Wow.
in, and she's there as well. If you look there. So she's here in those ones. More prominent in this hand.
Yeah.
So,
I can't twist my arm.
No, but you're quite stubborn and you're not very flexible as well. So that's more with yourself.
Bloody hell, that is no.
See that straight away. Yeah. And here, these are all your bracelets. Now you said about your health issues, but this goes right back to being a young man as well. Do you know? So this isn't just as you've been an older guy. There's been lots of things that you've kind of gone through and overcome, do you know, quite a lot. And you've got a bit of a twist going on there, which I feel is what you're going through, do you know, so that you discussed, okay? So it's all kind of like knotted. Do you know when something's like tied off? Yeah. That's what's happened now. It's like it's been tied off. But you've also got a healer. A lot of this here is all about healing. So you do like, but you're a communicative healer. So you like to make people feel good. And
I do.
And I know you both were comedians. That would make sense when in the past you were a comedian, you make people laugh, and you are very, very creative. So you've got a lot of, you know, your right brain is very like out there, but you're also balancing it out with your left brain as you get older, do you know? So you are logically creative. Which, that's the best balance. Yeah.
So you should see what you could do with pallets.
Or garden furniture. Yeah. I just saw that in my head. Don't do that to me.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So lots. Oh, here she comes again. A. So your mum must have been a really, like, I know boys normally love their mums, you know, but she is a big part of who you were and who you are and who you're going to be, do you know, so she's following you. But yeah, lots of you there's another one, but you've overcome so many mountains, but not had a pity party about it, do you know? So there's been 3 mountains so far that you've overcome where you're kind of like, oh, am I going to be able to do this? Do you know?
Yep,
and then when you get the other side, you're like, wait, like it's almost like I see you like trekking up, do you know, like with little pitchforks and getting up there, and then you kind of like slide down the other side. Yeah. You should travel more as well, but there's I don't know why you're not traveling. The energy is about travel or movement with yourself.
That's unbelievable.
But it's like you've restricted yourself at the moment. Yeah.
I've my kids are trying to get me to go abroad.
Yeah, go.
And I won't because of travelling over the COVID on the planes and all that.
Yeah.
And that's stopping me going.
Yeah, no, you need to travel. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And the 3 mountains is mum and nan passing away and obviously the cancer.
Yeah.
So that's
just a little go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, TJ, what can I say?
I'm all tingly again.
You're starting to convince me.
Oh, really?
Well, Martin's already a
converted.
Yes.
Converted. So there you
I
go.
tell you what, I found that really interesting.
Yes,
Thank
that was
you.
very
lot.
interesting. Very,
And,
very interesting.
I'm glad we got you on.
No, I'm honoured. Thank you.
And thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks, DJ, for giving up your time today. It's really appreciated. And we wish you all the very best with your mediumship
Thank you.
and your psychic experiences.
Thank
you very much, TJ.
Thanks very much,
Thank you very
TJ.
much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
See you next week, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks for
see you,
listening.
everybody. Hope you enjoyed that.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Who's Tom and Dick podcast with your hosts, Martin Weavers and Patrick Mortimer. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the show on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite streaming platform. New episodes are available every Friday. Thanks for tuning in.